See you, TMG.
I feel like yesterday, the pitch was bare bouncy and not a great pitch.
Shame, man. Shame. Let's get into the nitty gritty. Seeing as we talked about grassroots football, let's talk about domestic football of the highest level. Actually, I wanted to ask you about this. You know, maybe you've been reading the news. What have you been thinking about this government intervention into sport? Do you think it's good, bad? Giving fans more of a say so? I know it's not on our agenda, but just something like
I mean, government intervention, I don't know, man. Depends if the government honest and not going to be corrupt. I guess it gives a way to, recast an eye, keep a close eye on the books and stuff of that nature, keep the game under more control, stop teams going on the bus, stop people getting manipulated and done dirty, I guess. But, I mean, it just depends on how smart, shrewd and honest the government are. The people in charge. If the people in charge are doing their job, then yeah, fair enough. If not, then there'll still be issues. What do you think?
I think fan intervention in sports is it's a rocky slope because the reason why the Premier League got so big is that it's a breakaway league, lack of intervention, free markets, allowing people to invest how much money they spend, and that's what drives competition. That made the league the best.
Yeah.
That's why the Premier League is the top league in the world. That's why the other leagues are complaining. What kind of happened is that you get a Germany situation. Now you got fans involved. Now the level of the league it dissipates. It dissipates. You don't get the best talent. You don't get the best players. And then what the Premier League, the prize of the Premier League, it reduces. And then when the top talents leave, you're gonna be sad. Back to normal.
To be honest, when the talent leagues had the most money, like when they were breaking the transfer records routine for likes of Ronaldo and guys like Christian Vieri and Maradona and guys like that. That was the top league. Now from the 80s to the mid 90s at least, Italian football was the top
it was
league.
the blueprint. It was the blueprint.
They say that during that period when Maradona was there, that was the highest level in terms of leagues. In terms of actually legendary players were playing. You had guys like Ruud Gullit and Platini and Maradona was on the team.
Investment. And guys, funny enough, the way the Premier League is seen in other countries, that's how the Italian league. People were saying that they used to go and watch. I think it was Channel 4. That's where the Italian football guys were flocking to watch. You wanted to watch the best players, and now the Premier League's that standard because of the investment.
The free market is true.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I know you've done a little dissertation on FFP and all of that. The fast and all that circumvention. That's one of the reasons why the Premier League is.
That's why I said Man City won't get punished. I'll be shocked if they get punished.
It's going to take another 4 years for them.
They're going to forget about it. They're going to hope people forget about it by the time it's it's fine or something like that. Or I don't know, maybe suspended jail. Sign the slap.
The Champions League, they can't. UEFA can't even touch them because they've already done the appeal and they cleared it, so the UEFA can't touch them. So only the Premier League can really.
Maybe they take away a couple trophies, but no one's going to care.
Yeah,
it's
in the past. Back to football. Back to what we were talking about. I think what was the first item on the agenda? Was it about City? Haaland. So I've seen a lot of discourse in just in general online and in person, and a lot of people just say, "Has Haaland made City worse?"
He's made them more predictable, but I mean, I just feel it's a combination of Haaland adjusting to City and City adjusting to Haaland. At the start, the adjustment seemed to be fine, but obviously teams are starting to adapt to them. That's why I said Haaland could slow down. I mean, like I said, if he plays all the games, or at least 30 odd games, if he doesn't get 38 goals, the pace of the will seem a bit disappointing, like I said. But yeah, that feels like I should know this economic term where where people adjust to price changes. I can't remember what it's called, but it's a good economic term. It came to my head, but yeah, people adjusted to Haaland. The things happen is taking time to adjust to
what Haaland is and
how he plays to get the best of Haaland, get the full extent of Haaland. Because obviously he makes a lot of runs, and he's looking for that early ball. Well, City are not really a team that really play that early ball. So he's missing out a lot of potential opportunities. Like I said, Haaland, he's quicker than all defenders. He's stronger than all defenders. They're gonna bounce off him. So he wants that ball in behind. When he's more to feet in the crowded areas, like I said at the start of the season, that's not really his game. He's improving in that regard, but it's not really his game. So when he gets all intricate,
so he's a cutback where he's there, anticipation for cutbacks in the box and movement, and he's so sharp.
It's true, and because obviously Haaland's been their main goal threat and goal contributor, when he doesn't score, City find it tough. Obviously, the guys like Miles scored a couple, but when Haaland doesn't score, before their goals used to be more spread out. So you had so many multiple threats to deal with. And so, but when Haaland doesn't score, it's like, oh, where do you score from now?
It's easier for opponents because they have a reference point now. Like before, when City played with the false line, you weren't sure. Like, okay, who's the guy? Who's the centre back marking? Who do you get tight to? Who do you you're not occupying. You're not giving them something to field, and they're not giving them something to space. They're now more comfortable because they're playing with something they've grown up with. Whereas when there's no a false nine, now defenders have to think. Most of the time they're acting on instincts. Like, I know this striker is gonna do this, this, and that. But when there's no reference point, now they have to go into spaces where they're not supposed to go. Now the centre back is like, oh, do I stick or twist?
Yeah.
Do I do this? Do I do that? He's in a different pockets of space. Like, he's on the wing. The striker's on the wing. Do I follow him out to the wing or adapt?
I mean,
it gives them different space.
It tests you in different ways, and it tests like how switched on you are, communication. Because obviously when the striker pulls up wide, obviously you don't really want to follow because you leave a big gap there. And so I did want to pass him on to the fullback or the right mid or the CDM to follow him. You ask people different questions. Like I said, it happened to us a bit yesterday, off camera. For general, like he asked you, they had a guy that played it perfectly, like just like Thomas Muller, space investigator, space interpreter. You know, the radar meter, whatever it's called. And he just asks you different questions about, do I go to different zones? Do I stay in my zone? Are we still focused? Are we still communicating? Are we passing along? Are we still engaged? And if there's a lapse in concentration, they exploit it. They're in. They may be in for the left. They may be in for the middle. They may be in for the right. It's just, it's mentally stressing you and straining you. And obviously once mental fatigue comes, that's when the physical fatigue comes, and obviously there's been mistakes. And that's where they can profit from at your expense.
And that's one of the issues that I feel like that City might be having, and it also eliminates those late runs from the centre mid, the third man runs. Gundogan's really good at that. That's what KDB normally scores a lot of goals. It's kind of changed the system. I've seen Pep now try to go to this 4-4-2 with Alvarez. I feel like Alvarez is a big addition to what City can do, and if they can utilise him properly, then you don't know where he is. Because I've seen at the World Cup, he was the single reference point, and he basically changed Argentina's destiny from Martinez to Alvarez. Alvarez did more for the team, and he just obviously maybe more informed than what Martinez is, and then he added a little bit more, and maybe he can do that to City, like add a little bit of vibrance to Pep. I feel like Pep is in the stage where he's bored. You've done it for so many years, you've achieved so much. Now you're like, oh, let me try a new way. I'm trying to freshen up. I'm sure when you play Football Manager, when you get to a certain stage, you've done enough. You want a new challenge, or you want to try something. You want to transition your team, and that's where Pep is at.
Yeah, sure, I'll never forget Football Manager. The last time I played it to any sort of consistent level. So I managed Arsenal to begin with. Won everything there. Became the greatest manager of all time in terms of like the Hall of Fame points. And I thought, you know what? Let me go to a League 2 team that's never been in the Prem. I went to Forest Green Rovers. Got up to the Prem in like 6 seasons. I think I had my 6th or 7th season. I won the Champions League. After that, I was like, it's done.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to refresh. The only thing that Pep is maybe let's say struggling with is that he hasn't won this Champions League without Messi, and it's a bit of a I've seen a lot of people say that it's a stain on his resume.
It's not a stain. However, in my opinion, I feel it stops him. It's an impediment for him to be called the GOAT.
Okay.
I can't like similar to Messi on the pitch as a player. I can't call you the GOAT unless you've achieved the most or the highest quality.
Yeah.
And the achievements are out there, but for him to differentiate from who I have to go for Alex, he needs to win another UCL. Because what Alex has done, even though he won his 2 UCLs with United, Alex has also proven himself at a lower level with Aberdeen. Got him to. They're the last team to
win. That's not Celtic
or Rangers. You know how much of an achievement that is? That's 40 years. Obviously, the Scottish League's not as highly known as the other leagues. That's a great achievement. They won a Winners' Cup, I believe, against Real Madrid. He's proven. I'm not saying Pep can't do it. He's proven he can manage at the lower levels.
Well, you need to understand the gap in football now. But the gap in football between the top and the bottom now is so vast.
Yeah.
Compared to what it was maybe 40 years ago.
I'm not asking Pep to, like I said before, I touched on many episodes before. I'm not asking Pep to go manage the Everton, Aston Villa, and get them up to that levels because he, like I said, the way I described it, if you came out of uni, uni grad, your first job was 40k. Yeah. You don't want to go and start your next job to take 25k to prove you can go for the hustle and the grind. That doesn't make sense. You're gonna go. Obviously, naturally, you go for higher wages, especially with the inflation that comes on. So I understand that. So I'm asking Pep to go manage a lesser team. I mean, but like in that regard, but he needs to prove. If you're going to be at the highest table, you need to be winning at the highest level. You need to win more than the guys before who've proven at different levels. So he needs to win at least another Champions League. I don't care how many titles he wins. He needs to win another Champions
Then
League.
where would you say Pep is compared to Mourinho as managers?
I mean, Mourinho. I'll keep the argument for Mourinho. I still have Pep above him, purely because right now today Pep has not fallen off like Mourinho's fallen off. That fall
Mourinho's still a winner.
He's still a winner, but he's like at United, at Chelsea the second time, at Spurs, he's been disgraced. If we're being honest.
But it's Chelsea's second time he won the league.
He didn't. I must say he didn't win the league, but he's been disgraced. He's come up.
Spurs, awful.
No, like I said, he's won. I must say he won at Chelsea, but the way he unravelled and he left, he was disgraced at the end of the day. He got kicked out. They wanted him out. He lost all the players.
Well, he normally does. That's normally how it ends for Mourinho because of his character and his.
Yeah, but I don't think it ended that bad. But right now, United and other teams, it's ending in this case. You can clearly see compared to where it was before, it's on the decline. If he didn't have those blemishes, because they're blemishes, and you have to nitpick. Just like going to basketball between Jordan and LeBron, Dallas is a nitpick. It's a blemish. So those blemishes could add up, and because of the blemishes, I can't put him above Pep. But he's right up there, though. I think him and Ancelotti is a better argument.
Ancelotti. And when you talk about Ancelotti has some dark periods in his resume and his career. The Napoli and Everton, they're not.
They're all low moments.
They're low moments, and you thought it was done. Obviously, maybe he came back and he got Real Madrid job and he did what he had to do. He's a good. From what I've heard and the references, people always say he's one of the best managers. Like the way he copes with the players' mentality, and he does a good job with that. So maybe tactically, I would not say he's of the level of a Mourinho or Pep.
I mean, but it's the same fact. Alex still was better known for his management.
Yeah,
more
the
than
player
tactics.
manager, the manager to coach him. Like people say, maybe Wenger's more tactically astute to away, maybe in attacking philosophy, but over time, Alex Ferguson lasted for longer because he's a player's coach, and maybe that's one of the things. Players' coaches seem to last longer than their tacticians.
I mean, like you said, good that you point out offensively. Yeah, Wenger tactically is up there. You know, playing the football on the ground, passing, blah blah blah. Same like to go on the defensive side of the ball. That's more like guys like Mourinho and Simeone and stuff like that. I mean, yeah, in terms of Ancelotti and Alex Ferguson, they're similar. Like they play managers, they control players. They know when to push, they know when to pull, they know when to be aggressive, they know when to be, put arm around your shoulder, be less aggressive, that sort of stuff. And then, at the highest level, especially the people so I feel Mourinho's struggling with where the players are today. They'll be different than the players before. They don't take shit. They don't take. You can't just scream at them for no reason type of thing. Like a lot of these players, they have their own brands and stuff. They have their own bravado. You can't really just scream at them and they just take it like before. So that's where Mourinho's, in my opinion, struggled to adapt. Especially because what I've always said, Mourinho's approach to obviously be more defensively inclined at a top level at least. So when you come up with these new younger boys, is that they don't really play defensive football. Like when they come up playing for top youth teams,
they're playing on the front foot.
They're playing on the front foot, offensive football. And for you to say, oh, they've played this style of play, they've never played it before, they're never gonna like playing, and when the results don't come, they're gonna turn quickly. That's why I feel that guys like Pep and Ancelotti that play more offensive brands of football, they get more time from the fans because it's more attractive. They get more time from the players. That sort of stuff. So,
but attacking football will always buy you time because it's exciting. It draws. But the funny thing you say about Mourinho is that we say he's like a defensive mind, but if you actually look overall, look at the strikers that have played for Mourinho, and see the strikers that have had their best seasons. It's normally under Mourinho.
Okay.
It's Kane and Son. Best season under Mourinho.
Okay.
Ronaldo scoring 60 plus goals. 2011, 2012. When Messi was going off, Ronaldo was going off.
Okay.
Drogba had some of his best seasons under him.
Yeah.
Milito, that season they won the Champions League. Yeah. He was off.
Yeah, he's.
And then Costa.
He was pretty sharp.
Yeah. So most of these guys, they do have their best seasons on them. Maybe as a single reference point.
That's the main point as a striker, like Lampard as well. For him, they would do well. But like I said, Mourinho is not as defensively minded as some people think, because obviously some people only watch him against top teams. When he generally plays against top teams, he adopts a defensive approach. When he actually pragmatic, the perfect word. When he plays against other teams, like lesser teams, he's a bit more expansive and they score more goals and stuff like that. But yeah, that's that for sure.
Yeah. I guess Mourinho just like to close. For me personally, like Mourinho, Conte, Simeone, those kind of managers are the defensive manager of like, if you have the ball, you're more likely to make a mistake kind of guys. Like in their big games, they're like, we'd rather not have the ball because we can sit in our structure, We're comfortable. If you have the ball, you're gonna make you're gonna make a mistake. We're gonna break you down, and when you have made a mistake, we're gonna capture that. That's the kind of manager he's on. But the other guys, they want to have the ball. They want to control the game. They want to be in charge. They can't score.
No, but it's a controversial. Big controversial.
You got a red card?
He slapped.
Who got sent off?
Yeah.
Ziz got sent off.
It's got to VAR.
They revoked the red and gave him the yellow instead.
He slapped him.
Yeah, like pushed his face.
Why is he?
It's not a red. You can't put your hands on.
You can't put your hands on the face. I thought it was a red.
It went to
They
VAR.
had a red. I just saw the red get pulled off.
Because my man went behind him, barged him like in his back, innit?
Maybe it was soft.
Yeah? And then he's just kind of thing, then just
They said it's too soft for a red.
kind of just. It was a reaction, but it's like, what man done to him? It's like, man barged him.
Romero, it's a Romero
Wasn't
thing.
even looking, banged him in his back. He looked at him, the guy's in front of the ref, and he's got like that in front
Why
of the
did he do that though? That's a red though.
No,
I thought it was a red.
no, but if you watch it, you would do the same.
I mean,
He didn't slap him,
I thought.
he just.
On another note, yeah, refs have become
Inconsistent.
awful. They're just
Inconsistent.
awful. They're awful in general. Every level of refereeing has just dissipated.
with all this VAR and stuff.
VAR has made the top level refs so comfortable that they don't make mistakes. And then VAR, it's mad because the inconsistency. VAR is to help the referee if they make a mistake. But the refs are now so comfortable that they don't, even if they make a mistake, they will rely on VAR.
Yeah.
But then the communication between the two is like coming in like, oh, the VAR doesn't want to overrule the ref.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? So
They're
what is
undermining.
one doing? Like,
Just overruling, man. It's not his job.
overruling. The
You know?
VAR doesn't want to overrule the ref because they think the ref has made a decision. But the ref is relying on VAR for any mistake that he misses. So what are they doing? There's inconsistency there.
Poor man. But like, from what I understand, if you put your hand to guy's face, you're gonna get sent off. From what I'm
Do you
saying.
know what?
Especially in an aggressive manner. If you just touch him in a consoling way, then fair enough. But you push someone's face.
I never personally will get a red for that.
You know the thing is, yeah. How black and white does it need to be to the ref? We give the ref leeway to say
There's context, man. You have to have context.
the context, but
The
they
grey
want it to
area.
be black and white. They want it to be to the point where this is in the rule book. This is this. Because think about this. You got the Rashford. Think about the Rashford goal.
Offside.
It was offside. It should be offside.
Against
But
City.
against City, it should be offside. How many times have you seen that? That the guy's running on the ball. He's just said, "Oh, I'm offside." Someone's giving him a shot, and he's taking the ball and
That
giving
was
offside.
bullshit, man. I'll be honest, if that was Arsenal, they won't give us that, man.
Yeah.
Literally, that was bullshit. When I saw it, I was thinking, this guy's offside.
Yeah, bro.